All right, this is the Real Sports Fan Podcast, Season 5, back for another episode. Very special episode today. When you get to view this, it's an honor be able to sit down and chop it up with a guy that I had many battles against. I was joking with him before we started that, and I can't really call them battles because they always beat us, and he always had great games. But a guy that I probably started playing against, oh man, probably 11 or 12 years old up until, we was 18, So a guy that was on the 28-0 Waha team, 2002, celebrating 20 years. This year, talked to a lot of his teammates, talked to his coach, a guy that has a lot of awards, McDonald's nominee, Daily Times All-Tournament team, Base Out All-Conference, started Iona, went to Slippery Rock, broke his assist record, single game, single season. Then went to play professionally in Europe. So we're gonna, give him his flowers now while we can still smell him. No other than Kyle Camphor from Waha. Cam, what's up?
What's up? What's up, man? I appreciate you having me on, Lance. I appreciate it.
Man, no doubt, man, no doubt. Like I said, man, we had a lot of intense moments. As kids, man, you was always one of those guys. We both, we always showed our emotions on our sleeves, so to speak.
Definitely.
What I mean, when we used to go at it, man. So, we had a lot of fun back then, even reminiscing. I think back about, even starting back at the Salvation Army. You know what I mean, and the way we used to battle there, and then from high school and your great career. And I'm excited because obviously I didn't have to do a lot of research for this because I played against you. I know, a lot of your stats. I've seen it, but I really can't wait to sit down, and even get into stuff I didn't know, like college, and ask you a lot of different questions, man. So again, appreciate you coming on, man. We just want to show love to you, man. You one of the greats, man, that from the Eastern Shore, man. I mean that, so for you to come on and give me a little bit of your time, man, again, I appreciate it.
Definitely no problem. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, first and foremost, man, maybe for some people that may be looking at this and don't know you, obviously, I know it's a lot of people that's going to see this that do know you, man. Just talk a little bit about, where you from, as far as born and raised, and then, your introduction into the hardwood and basketball.
Born and raised in Salisbury, Maryland. Uh, Grew up playing basketball, Doverdale. Got introduced to the game by my father, and he instilled some good ground roots in me. You know what I mean? Just again, what people I'm known for, playing hard defense. That was the first thing he ever taught me, and just outwork your opponent. So that was like my upbringing, just outworking. And people who know me, who grew up with me, they would understand because they were around. And they've seen, if my dad was coaching, they would have seen him cursing, maybe throwing a ball at me, but or see me just on my own. You know what I mean? Just early mornings, everybody's watching cartoons. I wasn't that. I was for work. I wanted to be the best, so I was always out working. You know what I mean? Still to the day, that's the same things I live by. So that's just me. That was my upbringing.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. Like you said, man. I know you. Like you said, you're doing some great things even now. Custom camp. You're doing some great things with a lot of the endeavors you're doing now. I'm always even some of the stuff you put on Facebook about the stocks and stuff like that. I mean, little stuff like that. You might not think people see, man, but I see, like you said, that work ethic that it makes sense. You know what I mean? Because it started, at a young age, and talk a little bit about, if you don't mind, even before we move on, a little bit more about your dad, and obviously, I know your mom was there as well. But I had read about, your dad, and this was even in high school I was reading, but about that work ethic he put in you, and then also about how he, let you know to be the player you wanted to be, you had to be versatile. You had to be
Right.
a versatile player. There's actually even an article in your senior year written called Mr. Versatility. Just about you can play 1 through 5.
Right.
One thing I admire about you is you could handle the ball, but you could also get in the post, and do your thing there. You was a great defender, great length and stuff like that. And I know also your brother Darnell, played a big role in your point guard, skills well. So
A
just talk a little
lot.
bit about, just a little bit more of that. Yeah.
Oh well, when I first anybody. I was just clumsy, but I was just a person who went hard. And my dad, he first brought me into the game, and he was just like, son, the only thing you can do is control what you can control. And he was like, the first thing we're gonna work on is just working hard, you know what I mean? And
mm,
he just, like, when we went to work out and stuff like that, when he did have the time, he just, like, people don't understand, we just run, you know what I mean? If you really want it,
mm,
you
mm,
gotta show that you gotta be able to play the whole game, you know what I mean? And then you gotta be able to
yeah,
last the whole game and bring it your give it your all the whole game. So we did a lot of running
yeah,
and a lot of defensive drills. And so, and that was like, you know what I mean? He was just instilling fight in me, you know what I mean? He worked me till I got tired, or the days we would run, it would be 12 noon. He waits to the hottest point and
you
just be
wait till
like,
hot.
yeah, now it's time to run. We're not gonna wait till it's cool. So
uh,
that was some of the things that my dad instilled in me, and I'm thankful for. Not just that, he again, a lot of people, I didn't learn how to really dribble the ball until I got to middle school, or handle the ball until then. And I learned that a lot from my brother, as you were speaking of before. But like, I just learned how to, I was basically a lot taller than most. So I was a big man, and I just hustled and rebound most of the time. I mean, I could make
mhm.
layups and stuff like that. We just went over the basic stuff.
Right,
My dad just taught me
right,
play defense hard. He just told me, you play defense hard, you learn how to play defense, you learn how to hustle, you can get rebounds, your coach can't take you out. So I was like, look, well,
yeah,
let's get that. So that was first instilled in me. And
yeah,
then it was a point in once I got to middle school where I was playing with guys like Jermichael Bubby, Craig, and you know what I mean. I was playing with Eddie Pooh Bear, Javon, like all these good guys, you know what I mean.
yeah,
And then I was like, wow, like I
yeah,
was still a big man, you know what I mean. Me and Moran were the big men, so it was just like, wow,
mm-hmm.
like I really want to. I gotta take off. Like I want to be the best. I always strive to be the best at whatever I do. So my dad
Yeah,
was like, the next part now, you got to learn how to handle the ball, son. You got to learn how to shoot the ball.
mm-hmm.
So um, I work with my brother. That was thankful for him. I worked with him every day. And then there came times where I just went out to the court on my own every day, every morning. That summer before I got to high school, I was like, "Ooh, I'm about to get up here. Like it's real now." You know what I mean? It's real
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
So I took that whole summer, man, and I went out there every day. I was by myself every morning, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, all the way till sundown. I get a little bit of something to eat, come back, and then I wait for the
wow,
big boys to play out there. You know what I mean? Now it's time to get it in, like with those guys. But and a shout out to I had some great coaches, Danny King, who really
yes,
man,
sir,
he brought me to the gym a
yes,
lot
sir,
too, because I wasn't financially stable at that point in my life. And you know what I mean, he out of kindness of his heart really, yeah, I mean, brung me in, you know what I mean. He was like, he always
mm-hmm.
told me, he's like, Kyle, you got something special, like you work harder, you're humble, you know what I mean. He was like, that's not what a lot of kids have with the talent that you have. So he was like, I know you can't
Yeah,
afford it, but he always brought me to the gym whenever, or he took me out of
mm-hmm.
town to do workouts whenever, and I didn't have to pay anything. Like we ain't had the money for nothing, you know what I mean, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. And
Yeah,
he
yeah,
really looked out for me in a lot of ways when it comes to that. And like even once I got, it didn't stop there, you know what I mean. When in college he came, we always had conversations all the way up to the day he passed away. Like I'm talking about before he
yeah,
went into that surgery, we had conversations about life, you know what I mean. He was a real mentor. He grew to be a mentor to me, you know what I mean. And that's how
yeah,
he's meant a lot to me. And he's always shown loyalty and really wanted the best for me, you know what I mean. So I had that as well, that
yeah,
helped me strive to be who to be good, a good player. I call myself. I was a good player. I could have been better, you know what I mean? But I was a good player, especially in high school. I was pretty good. So
yeah. You being humble now. First, I'm gonna say, the great Danny King for sure. You know, what I mean, I came across a picture. I think it was travel ball with y'all, all there. And I mean, he helped even our coaches out over here in Easton, out, when they didn't know the ins and outs and stuff. So he was even a mentor to them. So, definitely, his legacy lives on. And you were talking about your dad. One thing you kept saying, about work ethic, work ethic, work ethic. So for people listening, even kids that may see this and maybe in whether you're middle school, high school, or even if you're an adult, at the end of the day, just as Cam was saying, if you work hard, there's nothing that you can't do. So the fact that you were, the fact what you're saying, I'm kind of going back in time in my head, and now it's all making sense. That's why how you're calling yourself good, and that's fine, but you were great. That's why you were so great. I mean, because of your work ethic and because, like you said, the summer before, high school, you out there all day. Because I wasn't doing that. I know a lot of people that wasn't doing that, but you was. So, I really respect that. Talk a little bit about, even before we hit high school, about one of my favorite things. I actually seen there was a video last night I ran across from one of my friends that their nephew was playing. It was at the Salvation Army, and I sent them a message. I said, "Man, I used to love the Salvation Army. I mean, from the games we used to have there to be able to go from one side to the other side, the different courts, to getting something to eat between games. Talk about, man, just the Salvation Army as far as for you guys, not just playing basketball, but even being a place that you could go, and not be on the streets and stuff like that. And you were pretty dominant at a Salvation Army. I read something where you were like the only player there that you won cadet MVP, junior MVP, and senior MVP in those leagues. And what I mean, I was talking to Edwin when he was on here. Edwin last year, shout out Edwin when he was on here too about it. But talk a little bit about the Salvation Army.
Um, Salvation Army, to be honest, I wasn't a kid who was at that gym. Like I didn't I didn't stay close
Mm-hmm.
there. I just played my games there, to be
Mm.
honest.
You just played there. I
I
got
played
you.
out, yeah, I played outside. I was at Doverdale, or like if I was at my grandma's, no lie, man. We didn't even have a basketball court. We just had a tree with a big
Is
it was
there
like an
is a
open
crate?
thing. No,
Yeah,
not even a
yeah.
crate. It was just an
Oh, not
opening.
in the crate.
And me and my
Oh
brother
wow.
used that
Okay,
as
just shooting
our
there.
imaginary basketball court. We just did the we just played
So,
there, and then we just played in the street, to be honest. Like, man, I
yeah.
I worked out at the course outside. You know what I mean? That's where I worked out. My dad, he was pretty like he didn't even let me play in like summer leagues early. He just didn't feel like I was
Mm,
ready. And he wanted me to stay hungry and really earn those things. You know what I mean? That was a big thing for
got you.
him. You gotta earn your right to play there. You know what I mean? Like we not just playing just to be a person with a jersey. We come to be
Mm,
a person where you're gonna respect
mm-hmm.
me. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm. That's right.
anybody will tell you I only played like summer league like one time. You know what I mean? Like one year.
Wow.
And I don't,
That's
and
crazy.
besides that, I play AU, but the boys club, that was like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be honest, that was like, okay, it's showtime. Like when I showed up, I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
now it's on. Like I've been working hard.
Yeah.
Like it's time for me to give everybody all this work I've been working on. You know what I mean? So it
Right.
was like, it
Right.
was, that was my like glory moments. You know what I mean? Like where here I come. Like, you know what I mean? That's the big stage for me. So that's what the boys
Man, that
club
makes
meant to
sense,
me.
man. That makes sense, man. That hard work and intensity, man. It, like you said, it's painting the full picture for me. So it all makes sense. Going to you talked about the summer before high school, but before we even get into basketball and your accomplishments there, how did soccer play a role?
Oh wow.
In your development. Because I see that I know you played soccer. When
Mhm.
you were younger. Talk about that game. Of soccer. Because a lot of kids now are playing soccer for endurance and to get ready, even for basketball. I know one in particular. So talk a little bit about soccer.
So soccer is crazy. Soccer, that was the first sport I ever played. And I got
Oh,
into
okay.
playing that. My mom was just like, look, like my dad was around, like he come pick us up for basketball, but my dad was just like
Mm,
my mom was on her own, you know what I mean, to be honest.
mm,
But like not like my
mm.
dad was a bad person or anything like that, but he was there
Right,
for me, you know
right.
what I mean. But that was the first sport my mom knew to sign me up for. And that way I was just
Okay.
happened to be athletic, and me and my brother
Yeah.
really liked the sport, and we just stuck with it. We had some great coaches that and we got on
Yeah.
a team, bro. Like, and we were actually pretty good, and we just stuck with it. You know what I
Y'all
mean?
were.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were real good. I played soccer, I played baseball too, and I had to stop. Only reason I stopped playing baseball is because basketball that was my AAU time. So, in my last year playing,
Mm,
I never went to practice. I said, Coach, I love basketball, man. I can't come to practice, but I come to the games. And I always started. I did great. I still made all stars,
mm,
but I was just
mm,
like, man, I gotta stop now. I don't, because I respect
mm.
every sport I play and I give everything my all. I was like, I wasn't doing
Yeah.
any justice of not coming to practice. That's not fair to anybody. So I stopped playing baseball. But
Yeah.
yeah, soccer, man, that was my time to keep in shape all year long. And something I learned actually, which is good that kids are learning, starting to play multiple sports. And I learned this once I got to
Mm,
college, that people that play multiple sports, you're working different muscles, which makes you a stronger person in the
mm.
anyway, and makes you more athletic. Because if you're playing basketball, you're still
Oh
working
wow.
those same muscles. But if you playing a soccer or you playing another sport, you're working different muscles, which is whole,
Mm.
like I would guess you would say altogether is make you just a stronger athlete, to be honest. And that's where you're
Got you.
seeing these guys who are coming out. Like you look at LeBron, like he played football in high school, he played basketball in high school.
Yep.
These are like super athletes. These are like Westbrook. Look
Yep.
at these guys. Like these guys are like super athletes, but it's because they're playing these multiple sports, which is
Yeah.
strengthening them and giving them abilities. And you're seeing different different sports, but you're seeing it's like the same sport, but you're seeing different lanes, and you start to see
Yep.
how they intertwine together. And so
Yep.
it's good to play those other sports. I encourage anybody who's in the sports, definitely let your kids play a lot of sports. Don't just get sucked into one or just playing all this,
Yeah.
because they all can intertwine together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, that's good, man. Nah, thanks for sharing. 'Cause you're right, and I'm finding out more and more about the benefit, like you said, of playing multiple sports, man. So I really appreciate you sharing that, for the kids as well. Talk about obviously High, man, prestigious program. When I'm in Easton, but when I think about the South, it's the first school that I thought about even as a kid. Was High, even with a little bit I knew then. So talk about going there. I know you ended up playing a little bit of JV, but you got moved up the varsity at the end of your ninth grade year. But talk about the start of your 10th grade year, really. And just your mindset, because like you said, man, you worked so hard that you knew when it was time to go, it was time to go. And you were going with a team there with, like you said, a lot of guys you're already familiar with. The Bubby Browns of the world, like you said, obviously your brother Darnell, Jermichael, guys like that. So talk a little bit first about your sophomore year and just your mindset going into that year.
My mindset was again like that whole summer. Me and my brother, we really got after it. You know what I mean? And my mindset going in there again, I didn't know what was going to happen. I was just like, look, I'm like me at heart. I'm just a winner. You know what I mean? And
Mhm. Mhm.
whatever it takes. Like I don't care if I gotta be water boy. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you the best
Mhm.
H2O. You know what I mean? But like
Right.
but
Mhm.
I'm going to do whatever it takes to win, you know what I mean? And those guys, everybody knows
Right.
that's my personality, you know what I mean? You need me to rebound, all right,
Yeah.
cool. I just be a rebounder today. All right, we need somebody to
Yeah.
play defense. You give me the best player. Y'all do what y'all do. Like I got
Yep.
scorers here. Bub
Yep.
can score. Like James Portman, he can score. Like bro, we
James
had a lot
Foreman.
of
Yes, sir.
a lot of people who could score. So
Hmm.
my thing is like I'm gonna do whatever y'all don't want to do. You give me that. Like you give me that. You give me the best players. I play the D, y'all do everything else. But if I get open, I'm going, you know what I mean, I'm gonna do what I gotta do too. So, or if we need
Right.
something I can bring,
Right.
I'll bring that. So that's me.
Yeah. I'm glad you said Foreman too, because you're right. That's a name that does get lost sometimes. Like you
Yeah.
said, your sophomore year, he was still on there, and he was dominant as well.
Man.
That year. So I'm glad you mentioned him.
Yeah.
Y'all had a great year. Got all the way
Great
to
run.
the championship and lost to Dunbar
Yeah.
by two. I talked to, like I said, all your teammates about it. Talked to Coach Weiler about it. Everybody's story is kind of similar as far as I think you guys, it was 45-43. I know you guys kind of slowed the game down, and from what I know about y'all playing against y'all when I was even younger than that, y'all always ran. Y'all pressed, y'all ran, y'all. You talked about running, but even coach was talking about how you just want to kind of slow it down. Talk a little bit about that game if you remember anything, and just about that loss to Dunbar that year.
Yeah, well, uh I was pretty upset. Uh I think everybody was, but
Yeah,
I don't like to change who I am, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I don't like
yeah,
what are we playing zone for? We never been a zone team, you know
mm,
what I mean? And I
yeah,
was back then I had a little bit of a temper, so I was yelling at everybody like, yo, this ain't us. Like, yo, like
mm,
they can sit me down, I
mm,
don't care, like let's just play man,
mm,
you know what I mean? But again, you got to do
right,
what your coach says, and you when you trust in your team, you just you buy into the program, and you go by who is the leader. But that definitely that was a that was a tough pill
mm,
to swallow when you know what I mean, where you I'm like we're used to just getting after people, right? We're used to press you, and
mm,
now we're sitting in the zone and just sitting here watching these people just hold the ball in
right.
front of us. This is
Hold the
like
ball.
this is not us.
Yep,
Like what are we doing right now?
yep,
So that was
yep.
that was rough, you know what I mean? And I
Mm.
really took that to heart. I think we all did, and definitely knew we wouldn't do that again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you said, tough loss, but it ended up, still a great year, 26-2 that year. But I know I can only imagine, how your summer was like going into the next year. Being that hungry. Bubs talked about it. Craig talked about it. So I do want to get to your motivation. I ain't gonna say your motivation. We know what your motivation was to win the states. But even before that, even before we get to your junior year, I do want to touch because if not, I know I'm gonna keep going and forget AAU. I gotta talk a little bit about y'all AAU. I don't know if it was Trinity Ice. I might got the name wrong, but
That's
you
it.
guys
That's
had a
it.
great. It was Trinity. Okay, you guys had a great AAU team, man. I mean, forget you all obviously had all the guys that I mentioned, and then you had the like you said the Eddie Millers and guys that wasn't at Waha, and then I remember even a B Walker, guy from Virginia and stuff like that. I mean, talk about how your AAU team even prepared you for what was to come for high school.
Yeah, nah, man. That AAU team again, that was probably one of the most talent. Well, at that time, that was one of the most talented
Mm-hmm.
teams I've ever. Again, I go to battle with those guys anytime, to be honest, because
Yeah,
we got after you, and it was just a good time.
y'all did.
Great. We all were like, man, like you don't understand how many we played the same DMX song. Like, bro, we came out ready to
Yeah.
war. Like we didn't care what was going on. But like, yo, we had so
Right.
much talent. Like me, Javon,
Y'all did, bro.
we like the bad boys. We guarded than anybody.
Oh my
Stop
god.
them. Then we got like Tony Harmon from
Uh,
Snow Hill. He's our big
Y'all,
point guard.
Tony Harmon. Hmm.
We're all like 6'3" though. We're all tall and
Yeah.
big. So it's just like
Long man.
yeah, we were long, but man, nah, that team was amazing, man. Like BA, like you can only learn from those guys when you're on a team
Mm.
with that much talent. And like I learned so much, and that like you said, that built a lot of confidence in my game and helped boost my game. To be honest, because you're
Yeah.
playing with people who can score at will, and you're learning how to really score. You know what I mean, and see the things that they see. You're
Yeah.
playing against these people. It's like iron sharping iron. Because like in our
Mm.
practices,
Yeah.
like we go at each other like we don't even know each other, like you know what I
Right.
mean. But
Right.
we're making each other better, you
Hmm.
know what I mean. And then once we get in the
Yeah.
game, like we're trying to like take your throat out, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
had no layup rules, like all that,
Yep.
like it's different, like. But man, we were awesome.
Yeah.
Like we was, it was a great time of basketball right there. That was a great time for me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. It was definitely a great collection of talent. I remember being on the side and even watching y'all at some of the same terms we was at. And like you said, man, you guys put on a show every time. And then, one of them names you mentioned, out of Peach City, Javon Schoolfield, y'all two on defense, and someone trying to
Yeah.
score on y'all too. When you got the other dogs back there, like you said, like Tony Harmon, those guys, y'all was dogs, man. So that team was a great team. So I had to ask you about that. But so obviously going back to high school, tough loss your sophomore year. The rest of the guys, uh, were going to be going into their senior year. Obviously, you're going into your junior year, but you're one of the ones that was starting, as a sophomore, and
Mhm.
obviously going to your junior year, you were starting. But talk about, and again, your versatile player. You even talked about in AAU, your versatility. But talk about how the addition of Craig, was there a big adjustment to that? Being that he wasn't there the year before, was it not a big adjustment because you guys always play together? Talk a little bit about that addition.
Nah, because that's like what's that? Their senior, bro. My
Hmm.
sophomore year, we were playing in men's leagues together. You know what I mean? And so
Oh,
again,
okay.
at a younger age, we were playing against like not like little kid. We were playing against grown men together. You know what I mean? So it was
Oh, wow. I
and we
never knew
went,
that. Y'all saying men's
yeah,
league.
yeah, and like we was playing against grown men in men's leagues. We weren't winning the leagues, but it was just like, look, all right, we playing against
I was
grown men,
competing.
like, yeah, and we all played together. So at that point, it was just like, and we came in third place our first time, and we're not playing against no bums neither. Like,
Right,
and
right, right,
like
right.
this was
Yeah.
like
The
our
talent. Yeah.
glory. Like, yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lot of good talent, and we came in third place that one year, and then going into our senior, like we just played a lot of different summer leagues together, just getting
Mhm.
ourselves worked up to play together. But we already been playing together. We know each other. We know what we all bring to the
Mhm.
table. In addition to Craig was just like he was like he can score, but he plays just as hard as I do, and he plays defense just
Mhm.
as good as I do. So it's like you're just adding like another, just like
Yeah,
awesome
yeah.
thing to what we already had. Who, like, again, a person who don't mind. Again, he scores a lot. Again, I don't mind passing to anybody, but we always give it to the person who's hot. It's no need to, like, we all here to
Right.
win. You know what I mean? So you got
Yeah,
Bub, you got them. I'm gonna play D, but then I can score when I need to score. I'm a score. You know what I mean? But yeah, having Craig, man, that was awesome, and it was a great addition. Like I said, to the defensive end. A lot of people don't give him, like, well, I don't know. They don't talk about it. They talk about it scoring a lot, but like
I agree.
his
Good
his
point.
defense was like he was a
Hmm.
good defender. He was just as good as I was when it comes to the defensive end. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, great points because you're right. A lot of people, and not just like you say, y'all too, but I'd even mention this to one of them as well. I think maybe Jermichael because he's another one that
Yeah,
got
definitely.
down on defense. Is that a lot of people talk about y'all offense, but I always used to tell people they turn people over all the time. So they're scoring off of their defense.
Yeah,
I say,
all
yeah,
the
you might
time.
go see 100 points, yeah, but I mean, the press. Y'all was pressing since middle school. Y'all was on
Yeah,
so by the time I was in high school, you already know who was going to be in what position. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And then, like you said, you couldn't try to go 1-on-1 with any of you. You know what I
Nah.
mean? So yeah, y'all defense is definitely not talked about enough, and that's really was a catalyst. We actually played y'all. We scrimmaged y'all in Easton that year, your championship year, so, and I knew then what y'all was getting ready to do. And then we played y'all in Salisbury, obviously, and y'all took care of us, pretty easily there. I mean, but y'all was getting everybody back from that previous team, except Portman.
uh,
Portman graduated. Edwin transferred to
yep.
Snow Hill, and so y'all had everybody else back, and then y'all add Moran,
Yeah.
and yeah, y'all had Moran to that, and Craig obviously, so I mean, it was a reason y'all were 20-0. I think y'all had maybe three close games that year, if that.
Yep.
Obviously, you always battling Pocomo,
Yep.
Snow Hill, was right there. But how was it finally getting back, to the Final Four and then to the championship? And I mean, you as a junior, 20 and 10, double in the championship game. Talk about just what that film was like and how it was.
Like that was good. Like, it was a lot going on. Again, like I said, like with me, I just fill in where I can. You know what I mean? And if we need
Hmm.
points, I can do that. And that was just a time where I had a chance to score a lot in the first half. You know what I mean? So I took full advantage
Gotcha.
of it. You know what I mean? Because that's what that was open. You know what I mean? A lot of people keyed in on a lot of
Hmm.
people, and that's where, again, we're playing with those guys. You know what I mean? I was a good defender, but I could score too, but I didn't have to
Yeah.
hold the scoring load like that, but I could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I was normally
Yeah.
like used to doing in other leagues or whatever
Hmm.
when I played at times. But yeah, nah, that was just a game where, again, things were falling for me. I was just open and I just took advantage of it, to be honest. And like at that point in my career of basketball, I was used to winning. So being on that stage wasn't like, that's what I wanted. You know what I mean? Like with
Yeah.
AAU, I mean,
Wasn't too
like,
big.
yeah, AAU was like, bro, we were winning championships like everywhere we went. Like, it
Hmm.
wasn't like we
Yep.
wasn't playing in no weak tournaments. We wasn't playing in no bums. Like, you know what I
Nah.
mean? We playing against people who was in the league, like who made it to the NBA. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And we're getting them out of
Yep.
there. Like, so those were the
Yep.
stages that we were used to. You know what I mean?
Yep. 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 And you said something too. All you sacrifice for the betterment of the team. Because if you look down the line at that team, even going to the talking about the Carl Miles and the John Wolfs and guys like
Definitely.
that who played a role. But all y'all, if y'all wanted to be selfish and score,
Facts.
25, 30, you could.
Yep.
And like you said, that's why y'all were so tough because any given night, that's why it's the greatest team ever assembled. I'm not just saying that because I played against y'all, but if you look down that roster, all y'all, if y'all want to, could average really 30. And for people listening, I'm not even exaggerating. Between Kyle, between Craig, between Bubby ended up playing the point guard that year.
Exactly.
He sacrificed a lot. You know what I mean? So
Well,
Jermichael, I talked to him. I
Bubby
told him,
was
I
the
said, yeah,
smartest out of us all.
but man, Bub
Yeah,
IQ, bro. I tell you,
yeah.
man, like Bub
He's the
IQ was
smartest.
was second to none. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
up and down that roster, man. I mean, you guys really sacrificed, and it also showed, that y'all got along in the brotherhood because every team couldn't do that with that many scores and that many guys. Yeah, y'all all did different stuff, but y'all
Right.
didn't have a selfish thing, a selfish bone in your body. So, I tip my hat to y'all on that. And how did it feel? I asked Coach Waters, but how did it feel? getting Coach Waller his first, championship, being there, coach a long time. It came close a couple of times, but for y'all to be a part of that and carry him, on your shoulder across the court, man. How did that feel getting it for coach?
Well, it's always a good accomplishment to of winning a championship. You know what I mean? Like especially when you're winning at the highest level of whatever league that you're playing with, when you can't go no further, and
Mm-hmm.
you're the one who you're the one who won. And again, like I said, winning for like you said, winning that for Butch. That's something like everybody can't say that. You know what I mean? And that's something that
Yeah. Yeah.
we really that was like something that we really wanted for him and for the not just him, us and the program, and where we wanted to make our stamp within the basketball on the Eastern Shore. You know what I mean? Because we really truly believe,
Mm-hmm.
and we still to this day believe we're the best team that ever came through there. You know what I mean? But no,
You was.
it was definitely a great honor to be there for him, because he's had a good legacy, had a great has had a great run. And I'm not sure what's going on right now, but they're pretty still decent,
Mm-hmm.
but not as good as we were back then. I know the talent's not where it was, but
Yeah.
um, again, it's good to just get that accomplishment for
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So like I said, 28-0, great season, obviously, historic season, win the regional championship, win the state championship. And then you look, for the following year, like you said, it was a senior dominated team. You were the only junior that started, and then as far as the juniors that were left over, with you and Moran, so then you're getting, a new set of guys, but still a set of guys that you're still familiar with, Dwayne McNeil, TJ Bryant, Valdez, guys like that, even though it might have been new to some people, it still wasn't new to y'all. So,
right.
so talk a little bit about just your, I'm going back, I'm always key on your mindset, because again, you a humble dude now, what I mean, and I know you used to talk a lot of stuff. I want to hear a little bit, because this is why I say this. As much as much as you love that championship, obviously best team, it had to be a little bit of you that finally you're like, yeah, I can score this thing a little bit more this year. You know what I mean? It had
Oh
to be a little
yeah.
piece of it. So just talk about you say, yeah, come on.
Just then, like that was my time. Like it's just like if you even go back to the boys' club, if you take it back there,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you said, I was the only player who actually you left out one thing too. I wasn't gonna say nothing, but you left this out.
Oh, go
I
ahead,
was
go
I
ahead, go
was
ahead.
the only player who at the boys club who at every level won a championship that year, and I got MVP at every level.
You know what? And I miss because that's what I meant when I was talking about each level. I meant the MVP and championship. You're right. My fault, y'all.
Yeah,
I read that. Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, nah, like it's just like it's always been that for me in my career. Like soon as Bubby and Craig and them leave, okay, now it's my time to get back to what I do. You know what I mean? Like, okay,
Right,
now
right, right.
I can turn it up a level and really dish
Mm-hmm.
out something. And like if you go to my ninth grade year, I'm not sure if they had a stat. I don't even know if they had stats, but I averaged almost a triple double as a freshman in JV, and we didn't lose a game there neither. So
Yeah,
that was just
yeah.
taking me back basically to what I was doing there. You know what I mean? It was like I had those same guys with me, like Moran.
Yep.
I grew up playing with him. Like me and Moran grew up playing all
Yeah,
together. That's my guy. You know what I mean? TJ,
yeah.
that was my neighbor.
Yep.
Like so we played at
Uh-huh.
Dover.
That's what he said.
Um,
Yeah.
that was my best friend. And then with Dwayne, he stayed right around Doverdale. So like
Mm-hmm.
Valdez, I grew up playing with him. We played baseball together. We played basketball.
Yeah.
That's my guy. Like so
Yeah.
all these guys I grew up playing with. We had Lake. We had Jack Shelton. He was the new guy. He was
Mm.
but he was the only one. But I played with Jack all 4 years. But yeah, nah, those guys I've been playing with, and it was nothing to just step it up and take it to another level. And it was definitely my time. Okay, now I can really punish people, and I can
Mm.
give them what I want to
Yeah.
give them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was
Exactly, man.
that was a fun year. You know what I mean? But I again,
Yeah.
a upsetting year for me. You know?
Yeah. 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 Like he said, because you came out. I mean, 29. 29. I got some of the stats here. 29 against Snow Hill. 17 points, 18 rebounds against Washington. And then they had the Mr. Versatility article I was telling you about, which was real dope because not only did it pinpoint, at the time, which you were averaging around 21 and 14, almost three steals a game, block and a half, but also you did it efficiently. And that's what I respect. Like you were shooting 57% from the field, 40% from three. So you're always efficient scorer. You weren't one of those guys just because I'm a senior, I'm gonna shoot a lot. And
Right.
nah, you were efficient doing it. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing I always respect. And then you were also a great free throw shooter. So like you said, that work ethic wasn't a weak part of your game at all. But one of the guys you mentioned, I do want you to talk a little bit more about him because he was dominant when we played y'all when y'all came to Easton. But Moran, man,
Yeah,
like
that's my
talk a
guy.
little bit about Moran, that year because obviously you was gonna need, you were familiar with all those guys, obviously, but you were gonna need Moran to be with you and have that 1-2 punch which y'all definitely had, and it was amazing to see. Talk a little bit about his game that year.
Man, Moran was just a horse, man. Moran was Moran who like man, like a lot of people again, they didn't see him a lot because before, but
Yep.
like people who played ball, they knew, you know what I mean? They knew like, okay, they got Moran.
Mm-hmm.
Like Moran's coming, it's Kyle and Moran. Where they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna come and just
Yep.
workhorse you know what I mean? And Moran, man, like he was just being
Mm-hmm.
himself. Like, man, he can he just got a knack for the ball. Like he can get rebounds. He might not jump as high as nobody, but he's gonna get the
Mm-hmm.
rebound. He's gonna score the ball in ways that nobody else is gonna score. You know what I mean? He's just gonna he can
Mm-hmm.
give you buckets. You know what I mean? It was good. It was good to have that person who I know, okay, if I can't do it, if I can't score this possession, I know Moran can score in this possession. Like
Yeah.
one of us can score in
Yeah.
each possession. We didn't. It didn't matter who we were going against. You know what I mean? So, like Moran is man. He and not just on the Eastern Shore level. This is a person I've played. I played with
Yep.
it all across is good and a
All across.
lot all across. Like
Yep.
I've seen him do the same dominance to everybody we
Mm-hmm.
play. You know what I mean? We just
Every
always
level.
work well together. I know where he's always going to be at. He know where I'm going to be at. You know what I mean? So it always was good to play with him and always man like people don't know how dominant he was and just
Dominant, bro.
a knack for the ball. You know what I mean?
Dominant, man. Dominant. Like quick story about Ron because I am gonna get to him about where else y'all play together at. A couple more
Definitely,
stops
definitely,
that we're gonna
definitely.
pray later, that we're gonna get to. But
Hmm.
I remember when I was on UMES, we played intramurals, and Bub, he ended up playing with us. It was me and Gary Somerville, Jermichael, and then Moran played 1 year. AJ played 1 year. Dwayne played,
Hmm.
and then Moran played 1 year. And that's how I knew Moran needed to be somewhere else because man, we was going against the basketball team. He did anything he wanted, man. Like
Yeah.
he did anything he wanted, man. I mean from inside, outside, was strong, lefty. I
Yep.
mean, I was like, yeah, you need to get somewhere, and that's eventually, like I said, we're gonna get to. You helped him out getting there, but he was dominant, man. I still don't know if everybody knows just how good
Right.
he was. You know what I'm
Very
saying? And
dominant.
I had to apologize to my guy when y'all came to Easton. You probably don't remember this, but we were missing one of our guys, but we had our big. I remember we had our big Derek Cannon,
Uh-huh.
and my thought process at the time was, let me try to get Moran fouled, so let me try to force feed him, and it kind of told, and I talked to the teacher about it. The teacher was like, you wouldn't even shoot the ball. I said I had the wrong mentality, so I
Facts.
tried to force feed him. It was a wrong mentality. Moran not only could he not score Moran, but Moran was just going back at him. And I mean, I was just like, ah man. So yeah, that was me. That was on me.
Yeah, definitely. And you should have been scoring.
Yeah, that was on me. I had it wrong, but man, Moran, like you said, dominant. And y'all 1-2 punch was great to see. Um, Real quick, I do want to touch on this before I hit something else. I talked about you on the basketball court, but talk about your senior year, how you became an even better leader. I was reading about one of the things you had even said, 12th grade is that, and you had even, talked about a little bit during this was that you used to wear your emotion a lot on your shoulders, on your sleeves, whether it was being mad at the refs or maybe frustrated with coach or whatever. But, your senior year, you'd even said in an article that you might have got frustrated, but you wouldn't see it. We wouldn't see it. The people wouldn't see it, it was more behind closed doors. Talk about just your growth as a leader, as a man, and just as a basketball player as you continue to grow those years.
That was the maturity that came along with the game. You know what I mean? Your game has to
Mm-hmm.
grow and you like before everybody know like I don't know, I was crazy, man. I just got text, you
I
know
was
what I
the same
mean?
way though. That's what's funny.
Yeah,
I
like
was
I
the
was
same way though.
emotional,
That's why I
man.
can relate. Me
Yeah,
too. I was the same way.
I was so emotional again, and I was that high-headed person. Then again, this is a conversation me and my dad had, you know what I mean, before that year. He's like, again, it's your last year, and it depends. Like you've done enough for the rest to know who you are, and this is going to
Mm-hmm.
be a pivotal point of you stepping up to learn to control yourself, and that's a part of the game. You know what I mean? And like at that point, at that time, like my favorite player was T Mac. You know what I mean? And he
Yep.
was just like, look at your favorite
I meant to
players,
say that.
and now do you see them showing their emotion the way that you do? You know what I mean? And then he was like, if you want to play the game long as far as staying on the court, you got to learn to bottle that in because all the refs know that you're gonna do that. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And not just the rest of other teams know, like it don't take much to get me going talking trash or like just
Mm-hmm.
getting into it. Like that was me, but that was a conversation of maturity with my dad about my upcoming season. You know what I mean? So that
Mm-hmm.
was that was definitely the maturity, just taking my game and my not just on the basketball court, but my mentality to the next level.
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, I appreciate you. You know, definitely sharing that, man. And like you said, I can relate. You know, so and I'm mad because I knew T Mac was your favorite. That was another thing I chuckled at when I was doing some research because he was also mine during that time. You know, after Scottie Pippen retired, T Mac was my guy. So when I read
Hmm.
it, he was yours too. I was, I said a lot more similarities too. So that's dope.
Right.
But you guys, man, again, another great year. I think you guys lost to Pocomoke twice that year, but besides that, I mean, you guys still pretty much ran through everybody. You got to the playoffs, and it's tough to beat a team three times, man. I mean, you guys, you played Bennett, and beat them twice in the regular season, but we actually lost to Bennett. Also, John Holmes,
Hmm.
um, Cornell, Big Steve, Big Steve, I think it's
Parham.
Param.
Yeah.
Parham, yeah, yeah, yeah. So talk a little bit just about the loss of them and but still a great senior season.
Uh, well, with that loss, that was I call it the payback from all my years of what we was just talking
Mm-hmm.
about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My immaturity as far as a player. You know what I mean? Showing the frustration to the refs, and it felt like that was the get back for them. You know what I mean? And again,
Mm-hmm.
you can look at the time I spent on the floor. Every time I was out there, it was turn up time. Like I was bringing it to them, but then
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't out that long. They was getting me another foul. You know what I mean? Like I even when I fouled out, no disrespect to John, but John Holmes. But I just crossed him over. He fell, and then I hit the three. They said I pushed off or I charged him. I'm like, the man just fell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
my last foul. And again, I just didn't spend a lot of time on the court, and they knew that would hurt us. I believe. Again, that's from my standpoint. Again, just
Mm-hmm.
because I was playing the game at a level where I knew how to control my fouls. I knew how to control my play at that point to keep myself in
Right.
the game. But yeah, that was a devastating loss, but a great year for us. You know what I mean? Real big learning year
Yeah.
for me. You know what I mean? Taking my game to the next level and things of that nature. But definitely a devastating loss that was there because I was definitely looking to win me another chip back to back. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You had a great year though, man, and a great run. Like I said, I was saying before, McDonald's nominee, man, which is like wow, like that doesn't come every day, So to be named a nominee for the McDonald's All American Game Bayside Conference, that year. Pocomoke and Waha dominated that. It was you and Moran for Waha, and then Pocomoke had
facts.
Javon, Tony, and Eddie.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, so like you said, I mean, great year. I think 18, 11, 6 assists. You always had great, great eye for the ball, and you always could see the floor well, even though you wasn't the point guard at that time. So as we go into the story, it's not
Hmm.
by mistake, that you did some of the things that you did in your career. And like I said, 3 steals a game, block and a half, 54%. And like I said, man, Mr. Everything. I mean, guarded 1 through 5, could post up, could cross you up, could take you off the dribble, could shoot the three, could hit the mid range, I mean, you did it all, man. So like I said, definitely, great high school career, capped off. Um, talk about the decision to go to Cecil. Obviously, Craig had went the year before. Your class, you had Moran, Pooh Bear. So talk a little bit about the decision to go to Cecil, and if there was anybody else that you were thinking about, any other place you were thinking about going.
I had to go actually because I didn't have the grades. I had coaches, D1 coaches who came in the gym. they were they were again, everything looks good on the basketball court, but that was a point in my life where I didn't take school serious, you know what I mean? So I just did what I could do to play sports, and then after that I was it's all about sports to me, you know what I mean? I didn't take my education
Mm-hmm.
serious. So that stopped me from going to a few good D1s like Richmond. Richmond Spiders came in, UMass
Mm-hmm.
came in. They came in to see me. I had a few other ones, but you know what I mean? Me, just a straight up person. Like they got in there. I'm like, bro, I ain't got the grades. You know what I mean? You wasting your time. No, but I knew that like, I mean, I could go to community college there. And again, I was in the conversations with Craig, and then Coach Lewis came down. You know what I mean? Those guys, they invited me up to do a workout just to see if it was really real, you know. So thankful that we had that path to go there, because probably if not, I did electricity as a trade, you know what I mean? I just been a regular working person, you know what I mean? But I was thankful that that was an open opportunity for me to go to the CISO. But yeah, nah, I messed that up with not taking school serious. And I could have been at a D1 school right out. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of times, bro, though, I will say, man, a lot of the things we just didn't know. I mean, obviously, we all
Facts.
always thought ball, ball, ball. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it's different now. Like, and we always tell the younger ones like about your grades. I was having the same conversation with Andre Collins and a couple of different ones. Like that was just
Right.
what we thought. We wasn't even thinking about grades, and it's not that our grades were terrible, but it's just that they had to be at a certain point. When you're talking to one, that's just something that we you didn't know. So but you like you said, man, you got to go to a great program and put on at the program. And
Right.
but before I even talk about you know what y'all did there, first I got to talk about. I know this had to be special when you, Moran, and Eddie got to come back and play at Salisbury. I think it was at SU, if I'm not
Oh
mistaken. I'm
yeah.
not sure if y'all played
Yeah.
Chesapeake there, or y'all played, but I know it was a big. I actually got the article. I'm gonna definitely post that. When this
Hmm.
comes out. But talk a little bit about that because it had to be special, man, for you guys. You three to come back in the area, playing in college and put on for the area, man. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, that was a good thing for us, you know what I mean? Because to be honest, man, when we got to
Mm.
Cecil, man, that was like the hardest work I think we all have ever done. Just getting
Yeah,
used
yeah.
to
That's what Eddie said the same thing.
man, let me tell you, like Moran, that was my roommate when I was there, man. Me and Moran, no lie, man. I think it was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks in, man. Me and Moran looked at each other. We packed all our stuff up, right? Bro, we was like, man, we ain't gotta do this, bro. We can go play at Chesapeake for real. And we was
Right.
like, no lie, we packed all our clothes up, man. But and then I don't know if it was Craig or somebody was like, man, come on, y'all like just stick it out. You know what I mean? They really,
Yeah.
I think they talked us out of it. But man, nah, that was a hard work. But it was just good to come back and show the hard work that we put in the again the how much better we got, you know what I mean? Just put on for your hometown,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? So that was good,
Yeah.
good feeling to be back home in front of your regular crowd, you know what I mean? You don't get
Yeah.
the same crowd because like our crowd, I feel like our high school crowds, man, like that energy that was in the
Mm.
building when we played was
Ooh,
just
DJ and everything there.
yeah, it was like no other. So like just to be back home to put on for your original fans, you know what I mean? Your original real fans was an honor, you know what I mean?
And when you were talking about, wanting to go home, even for people listening, talk about that. I mean, you talked about work ethic. And obviously, you had a great work ethic, but there's a
Mhm.
difference between high school and college as far as the work you got to put in on the basketball court, as well as you got to take care of your grades too off. But talk about like just the shape you got to be in, and maybe whatever comes to mind, with that.
Well, man, again, basketball is again a lot of people look at the glory in basketball, you know what I mean? They don't they
Mm-hmm.
miss the behind the scenes stuff that that people go through. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I've seen this program. I'm thankful for those guys. You know what I mean? Because they took my work ethic I thought I had in high school. They took that to like
Mm-hmm.
just my coach Reem. He made me and he gave me the nickname Killer. He just took like the work ethic I had and just really changed me and turned me into a real dog. You know what I mean? Just like
Mm-hmm.
a person who just didn't like I just was grimy going after everything, man. I worked hard. I tried to
Mm-hmm.
outwork anybody. He took that to another level. But man, the work you got put in is it's like no other. You know what I mean? It's like you're going to the
Yeah.
next level, just like if you're going to play professional, that's another level. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
man, like your body from high school, you're not used to lifting no weights. You're not used to like, man, this is an
Mm-hmm.
everyday thing, all day thing. Like we're waking up 5, 6 in the morning just to run track. All right, now you coming back in the gym, man. You gotta put up some shots, go to class, then you gotta come back in, put some more shots up, or just run. To be
Yeah.
honest, our preseason, man, I don't think we touched the ball. People don't even understand. Like our preseason at Cecil, I think the first month we don't even touch the ball. It's just running in
Wow.
weights. Like we touch the ball on
Whew.
our own. Our coach don't even do it. Like, you know what I mean? We touch the ball on our own.
Yeah.
So it's just like, bro, like
Gotcha.
that first month of preseason before anybody's at college is man, that they don't even let you got to earn your jersey there. And I respected that. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like you got to earn that spot. You know what I mean? Like they didn't just give
Yeah.
you anything. But man, that was it's man, it's some of the hardest work I've ever put in. I'll be honest, like I'm talking
Like
about
I said, you
from
thinking about it right now? Yeah.
the division ones, like man, that didn't compare to me to what we went through at that place.
What's up, man? Nah, I appreciate you sharing that and talk a little bit about maybe for some people who don't know how it works. And I asked talked to Eddie about this and Craig the same. Now, if I'm not mistaken, so you played your freshman year
Hmm.
at C, so then you
Yeah.
red shirt, and then you played. So talk a little bit about that process because people people understand like you red shirt, you still practicing with the team
Oh
and
yeah.
doing all
Oh yeah.
that. You just not playing in the game. So still that work is getting you, it's preparing you for the next year. But I know
Right.
that I know a little bit. I was like, man, I want to play. So just talk a little bit about that process, maybe for some people that might not understand.
That was a good year for us. Again, you're hungry to get out there because this is what you come to college to do. You know what I mean? You're hungry. But for the
Mm-hmm.
guys, the group of guys that I was with, me, Eddie, my boy G Nasty, Glenn, he from Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? It was me, Eddie, Glenn. I know those are the core guys, but we had some other guys coming in. I don't know, but I know those were the core guys that I like. Man, we
Mm-hmm.
redshirted together, and we were like it really formed we formed a bond. You know what I mean? And on the court, you could tell it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like me and Eddie, like we hit in the gym a lot more. Like we're putting up shots a lot more together. We're learning to work together a lot more. So that
Mm-hmm.
helped us really not just on the court but off the court. We're working together, doing everything. We're doing everything together. I ain't gonna lie, like everything,
Mm-hmm.
literally things we can't even get into, but we're doing everything
Yeah.
together. And
Yeah.
then like we're putting muscle on to get ready for the Division I. You know what I mean? And that
Mm-hmm.
was a great year. I think again, I'm not saying if you take that road and you got the coaches, that was a great road. I know it worked for us and everybody that came through that program because you're building your
Yeah.
mind and your body to get ready for Division I. That's a different level. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
be honest. But
Yeah.
that was a great year. That was a great year, but it keeps you hungry because now you're just like you're biting at the bit to just get back out there in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, we now it's time to put on again. That's my
Yeah.
time to really show everybody what we've been working on. You know what I mean? What we've done for a whole
Yeah.
year. No, like you ain't
Yeah.
touched a game
Yeah.
for a whole year, man. Like what?
Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's dope, man. Because all you said that how that red shirt year propelled you and how you were that much better physically, mentally, all that
Definitely.
So you saying the same thing is just echoing. And you talked a little bit about the synergy that you and Eddie had, and even how closer y'all got. He said the exact same thing that y'all did everything together. Like you said, some things he didn't talk about, but you talk about all the stuff y'all did. But another thing he always says that every time y'all would always try to start with you throwing him a lob first play of the
Oh
game.
yeah.
Uh, that time, every
Oh
time.
yeah.
Talk a little bit about how it was, because we talked about how it was playing obviously with the Wild High guys. But talk about how it was, playing with Eddie, knockdown shooter, great scorer, could jump out the gym. and just talk a little bit about being able to play with him, at that level.
Man, playing with Eddie at that level, we man, that's now that I can honestly say that's the best basketball I've enjoyed at like that was the best time of
Hmm.
basketball in my life. You know what I mean? Because it
Right.
was just man, it was a great feeling. Like we knew where each other were going. Like we're starting the game off. We're gonna set the tone, let you know how we coming. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's how we
Hmm.
felt. Like we coming. Like we're
Yep.
gonna throw oops. We're gonna run these fast breaks. We're gonna shoot threes, and we're gonna dunk on you. And like
Yep.
that was what we did. Like man, it was an honor. Like man, like that's the again, if I could play with anybody, that would be the one person because like you're not gonna stop. Like because we just I knew where he was gonna be at. It didn't matter if I seen him or not.
Yeah.
I could just throw it anywhere, and I know where he's at. You know what I mean? And that's something to my
Yep.
coaches. You know what I mean? Like from the again the little drills of like people who don't understand like a little drill of just I used to just my coach used to just tell me where does Eddie make most of his shots at? Where are you feeding it at? Like to his hand? Which side is the ball coming to? You want to look into
Mm.
that deep to understand your best shooter on your team to build that. Like you want to give it to him at that right spot where you know that's his money spot. So we built
Gotcha.
that over that year. And man, now when you get on the court, it's like, oh man, we're just having fun. To be honest, it's just fun. Like,
Yeah. 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 He said the same thing, man. He said he loved playing with you. He said, like you said, he said that the synergy. I'm not sure if you seen what he was on, but he said the synergy was amazing, and like
well,
you just said too, where each other was going to be on the court. So that's that's dope. Y'all two out there together is just whoo, two killers, man. So I can only imagine. And you talked about. I'm glad you talked about it as far as the little nuances of the game, knowing where he likes the ball at. The spot that he likes it at, which hand he likes it at. Was it an easy transition for you? And maybe you can tell me what, where this started, whether it was your freshman year or after your redshirt year, to play the point guard for you? Because we talked about, even going back to high school, about,
mhm.
those point guard skills that you developed, those point guard skills you had, and that you always seen the floor well. How was it, transitioning to the point guard?
It was pretty. It wasn't hard for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was good. I had good people to look up to. My freshman year coming into Cecil because I don't know if you heard of him, Cantrell Fletcher from Philly. Like,
Heard the name. Yeah.
yeah, like bro, this dude is like 5'6" but doesn't make mistakes. And
Wow.
like when I say doesn't make mistakes, he doesn't make mistakes. Like he's so little, but he put like bro, he doesn't make mistakes, and he's gonna score
Yeah.
20, and he's gonna score like 20. Like
Yeah.
it is just
Wow.
it was just a
Wow.
good person to learn from. And my coach told me, watch how he passes, watch how he doesn't make mistakes, watch how he feeds his player, he finds them at the spots at the right time. He's not selfish. He finds his open shots. You know what I mean? I was already what I did, but just watching him help get me to the point guard person that I was, you know what I mean? And those conversations and
Mhm.
not just that in practice, you know what I mean? You got to go with these guys, you practicing with
Mhm.
these guys. And then me and Eddie's freshman year, we did all our drills were together, you know what I mean? If we're rather than shooting drills,
Mhm.
I'm passing to him the whole time, you know what I mean? I'm finding this spot. He's getting used to me passing it to him wherever he's at, you know what I mean? So it was just it was something that we worked on, you know what I mean? I worked on it all summer, and that was again, it wasn't hard for me. I just had to work on my handles. I dribbled a tennis ball all summer. These are the things I had to do to just better me. And then I had my friend, like I said, Glenn. A lot of people don't know, he from Baltimore, but like he was a great point guard. He was my backup, but like he was a great point guard who helped me with handles. You know what I mean? He could handle, man. Like, and those guys helped me.
Yeah.
He helped me, you know what I mean, get my handles to the next level. We just worked, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that wasn't
It
a
all
hard
goes back
transition.
to what you said. Yeah, I was gonna say it all goes back to what you said earlier in the interview about iron sharpen iron.
Yeah,
That's what it was. Like you said, you talked about it, from rec ball to high school, and the same thing in college. Being able to help each other and build with each other and take things
definitely.
from each other. So that's dope. That's dope for sure. For sure.
Hmm.
You guys ended up doing some great things. That year at Cecil, you ended up being the MVP of the regional tournament at 20.7 assists in the championship game, and then you guys go and win the JUCO crown. Eddie gets MVP. You both on the tournament team. How was that? Because I don't think people understand, man, that level of competition.
Oh,
That you guys are going up against, man. It's top notch, man. I mean, like you said, you got guys that's D1 prospects that ended up eventually going D1, and so if you don't mind, talk about obviously how tough it was, and winning the championship. And then after that, even maybe, a guy or two that maybe you went up against that, whether we know or don't know that, or a team that we don't know that, was just tough competition as well.
Well, at that level, it was going there. The hardest part about that was the layoff that we had. We had a long layoff. To
Mm-hmm.
be honest, we had a long
Mm-hmm.
layoff waiting to get there, and well, we practicing hard. You know what I mean? We were practicing hard, but it's nothing like having those games. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
to be honest, I
Yeah.
went into there. I was rusty. I didn't. I played well enough for us to win, but I didn't play my best
Mm-hmm.
basketball when I was there. But um again, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you name. I don't remember the teams we played. I just played the game, to
Mm-hmm.
be honest. But
Yeah. Just play
the,
the
but
game.
this
Yeah.
but the talent that we played again, you gotta understand, like Cecil, we're not a big team. Like I've never played on like a big team ever in my life until I got to
Mm-hmm.
Iona, and then I played across seas. I had
Mm-hmm.
big guys, but I really
Yeah.
never played with big guys. So at Cecil, we were so me and my mom was talking about this like a month ago. She was like, "Kyle, do you remember when we were in when we going to Cecil?" She was like, "Boy, those guys were like monsters, and y'all were so little." She's like, "When y'all was in the championship, I didn't." I was like, "Oh my god, y'all about to get blown out." But now, man, like
Wow.
we it was top tier talent, man. Like you're playing against the
Yeah.
best in the world at that level. It's crazy because that year, the one game that we did lose, my Coach Reem, who coached me that year, he's a good friend of mine
Mm-hmm.
still, and he coaches at North Texas. The game that we lost that year, which was to a great team, he actually coaches with the head coach of that team. He coaches with him now. And like when I went down to
Oh
visit him,
wow. Oh,
we were talking about that. But yeah, nah, like man, it's great talent in the JUCO league. Again, it's a lot of people basically
yeah.
who didn't have like the grades, you know what I mean? But some of those are some of the best
Yeah.
basketball players in the world. So definitely played against some real good talent.
What was the? And I know it's hard to kind of rank these, but your JUCO championship compared to your state championship in high school, like how does it compare? Like I know it's hard to, it's like asking you
Oh
like
no,
which
it's
kid,
not hard.
your favorite.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's
you
not
can't.
though.
Oh no.
Nah, my junior college championship was that was a memory. I like we call ourselves the Cecil Mafia. Like it's a
Okay.
brotherhood we created. You know what I mean? Like when you got to go through what we went through as far as man. A lot of just hard work, man, like that people could
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
never imagine, you know what I mean, not just
I bet.
physically, mentally, you know what I mean, going through
Yeah.
that hard work with a bunch of brothers for 3 years, and you ain't got your parents here no more, like, you know what I mean, y'all
Yeah.
just going
That's
through
true.
this. And it's not just
Hmm.
basketball, you know what I mean, this is life, because now you got to
Life.
live, you
It's
don't have
life.
the scholarships
That.
like that you have at D1s,
That.
like, so you're going through life, and at this time I got a kid. I'm going through
Mm,
life with
got you.
that. I got a kid.
Yeah.
Then I had another
Yeah.
kid on the way when I was leaving. So it was a good
Got you.
thing. And these guys, man, we really were there for each other, and and we really built the brotherhood, which we're all pretty good friends here till today, and we'll do anything for each other, you know what I mean? That's why it's called the mafia, you know what I mean?
That's awesome. That's dope, man. Thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate that. So, why, you talked a little bit about this. You ended up going to Iona. I guess my question is simple. Why Iona? I know, from what I understand, you had some offers from East Carolina, from Drexel. You also had some other schools interested: Maryland, Texas Tech, Oklahoma. Why Iona?
Um it was between Iona and Texas Tech. Um Texas Tech, I didn't go there because I didn't think me and Bobby, because Bobby Knight actually came into our practice, and we all spoke together. He was like, "Yeah, I'm offering you whatever," but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think my temperament would be well with him. You know what I mean? At that time, I still
That's
wasn't
real.
like
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't like hot headed, but I still wasn't like that person who could just
Yeah.
control my temper as that good. And I was like, look, he's crazy. I'm half crazy. That's not gonna be a good combination. Like,
Yeah.
and then actually I wanted, like, I mean, I did want to get some tick and stuff, you know what I mean? So and when I went down there, I seen how Craig was good enough to play on the court at Texas, and I was like, man, I don't want to go through that going all the way down there. I'm not saying that I would, but you never know. I was young, just thinking like, man,
Yeah.
this is Texas. He didn't get it. What says I'm going to get it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I always in that at that stage of my life, I underestimated my talents. You know what I mean? A lot. I didn't think I was good as
Mm-hmm.
everybody used to say I was. I used to be like, I'm okay, I'm average. You know what I mean? I seen better.
Gotcha.
And that might have been
Gotcha.
just the thing that always kept me pushing. But
Mm-hmm.
Iona, I love the coach. I love the energy, and I love, like, it was a mid major where I felt like I could go and I could really do my thing. You know what I mean? So
That's
that's
what's
what
up. That's what's up, man.
the visit I had was great, and my coaches, like, I'm still cool with my coaches that were there. They're great guys. You know what I mean? Real good guys. So, like,
Yeah,
that's why I really chose that school.
that's good. That's good. And you had the unfortunate situation with your foot, broke your foot. I think in practice, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
How was that process? I don't know if you ever had a major injury like that before, but whether you did or you didn't. Just how was that? Obviously, getting to where you wanted to getting hurt, and then having to go through, trying to rehab it and all that. How was that whole process with the injury?
That was a rough time. I was going through a lot there, you know what I mean? To be honest, totally honest. Like, I was going through
Mm-hmm.
a lot mentally
Yeah.
at that school, with, as far as like Cecil, we had, like, it was a different mentality. Like, I had my coaches who going to make sure I get that extra work in, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? You make sure you're getting in the gym, late night shooting we had. Once I got Iona, it was like we
You're
practiced, you know what
young.
I mean? Don't get me wrong. Yeah, exactly. You're on your own now, and you're
Mm-hmm.
more like, okay, I'm a kid from Salisbury, and in New York City, you know what I mean? I'm just like I wasn't in the city, but I was like
Yeah.
close to the Bronx. We're going to the city. I'm just like, bro, like I'm not as
It's
focused as
different.
I should have been. Yeah, I had a lot of I
I
had a
got
lot of freedom. You know what I mean? Then and
you.
I wasn't focused, and that's what, to me, again, I take accountability for that injury, because that I was out partying, I was out doing my thing, and not focused on like how I used to be focused. You know what I mean? When it came to basketball, because it was like off came Delicious. I can do what I want. Like, I'm just wilding. You know what I mean? I wasn't
Got you.
focused. I wasn't as focused as I should have been. You know what I mean?
I got you. I got you. That's real, man. Again, thanks for sharing that. How was the how was it, injury wise, though, as far as like what was the timetable? Because if I understand, I don't think you got to play the rest of your junior year, but you did come back, for your senior year. How long was the process of feeling not just healing the foot, but then mentally feeling comfortable enough to do the things you were doing, before jumping, cut, and stuff like that?
Right. Well, the healing process was the first time. Like, it's crazy. A lot of people don't even know. Like, when I broke my foot, I didn't
Oh,
even
you
do
rebroke
rehab.
it, then.
Yeah, I didn't do rehab, and I was so eager to just, like, okay, now I gotta take it serious. I gotta get back to my old ways. You know what I mean? So now I'm trying to hurry up and get back in shape for the next year. You know what I mean? And then we had a new
Mm-hmm.
set of coaches coming in, so I'm like, oh man, I gotta really
Okay.
prove myself. You know what I mean? So it's a struggle with trying to get back on the court. And then that summer, I don't know if it was the summer or the year before that year was coming up, I broke it again. You know what I mean? Working out, and then boom,
Gotcha.
now I'm set back again. But then they took some bone marrow from my hip to put it in there to help it heal a lot faster.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, to heal faster than it did last time. But then again, I was never jumping at level at the where I didn't even dunk until what, like a year or two later. Like, not, I couldn't
Mhm.
dunk, but like, it was just like I wasn't mentally ready to dunk like on
Yeah,
nobody
that's
or
why I said
in
that
game.
mental.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So now it took me a
yeah.
while to get that back, you know what I mean? Which actually I really got it back once I got to Slippery Rock,
Yep,
actually, to be
got you. And
honest.
that's what I was gonna say, and that's a nice transition, right to that. And again, for everybody listening, Real Sports Fan Podcast, and here with Wild High great Kyle Camper, Cecil County great Kyle Camper, champion Kyle Camper, and just giving him his flowers, man, going through the journey and all he's accomplished. And I'm not going to take his time too much longer, but I do want to transition to Slippery Rock. Like I said, finished that Iona your senior year. Got to get back on the court and like you said, started and played all the games. The move to Slippery Rock, if you can talk a little bit about how, because it's a dope story. I did some reading because I knew
Definitely.
you went to Slippery Rock, obviously,
Yep.
because just from following you and all that. But knowing that not only did you get to Slippery Rock, and if I'm not mistaken, I think your coach Ream was a big
Hmm.
part of that as well.
Yep.
But you also brought along Moran, who we've mentioned, before, and also Maurice Douglas.
Yeah.
So just talk a little bit about that, man, because I mean that just says a lot about you. That not only were you looking out for yourself, but you looking out for others as well.
Right. Yeah. Nah. How that transpired was like, I had one more year left, and I told my guy Reem, he was like, "Look, man, I'm about to get another job. I'm leaving Cecil. You know what I mean? And he was trying to help me get to a different school anyway, because I
Mm-hmm.
had one more year left. But I'm not sure if I could play at D1 because I only had one more year left for eligibility, but it wasn't for D1, I think. And and he was like, "Look, he called me out of nowhere. I was like, hey, I just got the job over here. You coming with me or what?" And I was like, come on, say less. Like I can get back to my old, like, this is the guy I know he's gonna work
Yeah.
me. And he's gonna make sure I'm in the gym. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So then
Yep.
him and the head coach, I was like, man, look, I think I can get Moran. Let me just see what he's doing. I don't even know if he's in shape. And then I was like, all right, just y'all just come on down to summer league. So they came down to a summer
Yeah. That's
league,
what I
him and the
heard.
head coach. And it so
Mm-hmm.
just so happened we was playing Rico or Maurice Douglas, and Rico was guarding me. You know what I mean? Like I would like again, we was going at it. You know what I mean? Rico not no slouch. Like so we was
No,
going
not at
at it.
all.
You know what I mean? And Rico straps up, and he was shooting the lights out. To be honest, that day, and I was like, "Look." So we left, had dinner and stuff like that, and then later, I think it was that night or later on that next week, I was like, I was talking to Reem, we was talking about the school or whatever, and then I was like, man, he was like, yo, this is the worst team we ever. They was the bottom, bro. They was horrible.
It was.
And
It
I was
was.
like, look, well, I was like, he was like, let's get Nelly. I talked to my homeboy Danelle Steffens. He was at a D2 in Texas. So he was like, if you going, I'm going. I was like, all right, well, come on down. I was like, I got my boy Moran coming
Oh wow.
too. And then I was like, Rika, I was like, Reem, let me holler at my man Rico. You remember, like, I played against him. I think he's eligible still. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, like, we could use somebody like that. Like, he's a shooter. And he was like, the guy that was guarding you? I was like, yeah, the guy that was guarding me. He was like, oh yeah, definitely. See what's up. So when I called Reek, I said, Reek, you want to hoop, go back to school? He was like, heck yeah. I was like, all right, say less. So
Uh-huh.
we brung everybody down and we put on.
Man, y'all put on, man. Like that's crazy. Like I didn't even know all that. Like I said, I knew you was there. I even knew Moran was there. But I didn't know how Moran got there, and then I didn't know about Maurice at all. So that I was reading. I was like, wow. So and I read just about like you said about the summer league and them going to see. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the coach, so your coach at Silver Rock also recruited you when he was at University of Denver, from what I
Yep.
understand too. So it was
Yeah.
also so yeah. Everything was familiar with that, man. So man, that's awesome, man. Y'all definitely put on and did everything kind of come full circle for you in a sense, man? Because we've always talked about even going back to the beginning of this about your work ethic and your point guard skills and how you see the floor, and then I mean you go there, man, and I mean you average more assistant points because you're seeing the floor, you're breaking single season assist record, which I don't even know the exact number. I know you broke it the single game assist
Yeah.
record. You was averaging like 11 assists. I mean, let's talk about a little bit about your particular game as a point guard there, because man, y'all put on as a team and y'all propelled them, like you said, from the bottom up to the top. But individually, man, you was just seeing it for me. You was just doing it, man.
Well, there I had a lot of weapons, to be honest. I had Moran, I had Moran who can again Moran can shoot the three. I had Rico, he could shoot the three. Um, and then I had another guy, he was from his Mike. He could shoot better than Rico, and he could shoot just as good as Eddie. And I'm like, God, like I seen a kid go for
Wow.
freaking almost 40 without making a layup. And I'm like, God, they're like, I'm talking about on
Wow.
fast
God.
breaks just pulling up. Like, I'm just like, God, like I
What?
just had a lot of weapons. So it was just like, it was like, okay, pick your poison.
Yeah.
And then like it
Yeah.
was easy, to be honest, because it was just like I had so many weapons around. Then my man Nell, like this dude jumps like out the gym, like I could just throw it up anywhere and like he goes and gets it. Like he's
Yeah.
the shortest big man I ever had,
Yeah.
but the most athletic one. So it was,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
it was like it was a kid in a candy store. You just throw it wherever you want. There's somebody there to get a bucket. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the again, man. It goes back, for people that's gonna check this out, man, to how unselfish you are. Because I mean, you could have went and said, man, all right, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna score 20. Because you could have if you wanted to.
Yeah, of
I'm gonna
course.
score 20. But to be like, nah, I'm gonna get everybody involved. I'm gonna play this point guard and not just play it, but be a point guard and dominate it, man. And the record and stuff you set, man. Again, I tip my hat to you, man, because I mean, we talk about now like in the league positionless basketball. It's big in the area now, and NBA look at position basketball. But you were doing that even back, even then. I ain't gonna say back then 'cause we ain't that old, man. We getting there. We still good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I ain't gonna say all that. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? But you were doing that. I mean, at a time where everybody couldn't do that, man. So again, that's big respect to you, man, and
appreciate it. Appreciate
everything
it.
you've accomplished, bro. Like real talk, everything you've accomplished, man. Definitely my I'll probably say my most fierce competitor, what I'm saying, on the court, you know what I mean? Because, your tenacity and what you brought, what I mean, every day, every time I play against you, man, was awesome, man. So I definitely appreciate that. Just gonna get you a couple more things, man. I'll probably let me get you off of here.
All right.
After Slippery Rock, man, from what I understand, you ended up playing in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about that experience, playing overseas, and then any other place that you might have played at as well.
Right, yeah. Now I played over there 1 year, just 1 year. It was a great
Mm,
experience, you know what I mean? I did my thing. Actually,
mm.
the best basketball I've ever played. That was a time I was
So,
very sober, you know what I mean? I didn't drink at all. I didn't do anything.
mm,
I really had the time, and I was grown up by then. I was mature and I was
mm,
ready. Again, this is a
yeah,
it's a job for me, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
that was some of the best basketball I played. That was probably some of the best stats I had. And now again, that was a change in the way I had to play. I had some guys, but again, that was the time I could score. So I had to score then. So that was a good time. And I just played 1 year. Had my son with my wife was pregnant with my son, so I had to make a decision. You know what I
mm,
mean? Whether I was
yeah,
gonna continue
yeah,
with this or if I was gonna come home and be a dad. And I made the decision. I turned down some actually real good contracts because Craig had helped
mm,
me get one that was pretty decent, and I turned that down just to
so
come home and be a dad. You know what I mean? And try to be there
that's
for my
real.
kids. I already had two. You know what I mean? Now I got another one on the way. I was like,
Mm,
I think it's I've done what I grew up to want to do. So now I
was the
needed
one
to
to
come home and be a dad. You know what I mean? And again, I didn't want to.
that's
I
real.
by far I definitely didn't. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because
yeah,
it was my
yeah,
first year. I'm playing great again, and
yeah,
I did like man. I had a great year. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, no, it was. I've lived my life when it came to, and I did with the things that I dreamed I wanted to do far as playing on a professional level. So that was me,
that's
man.
great,
That's
man.
my
Like you
life right
said,
there, man.
that's why, like you said, man, you did the best job we all could have, man, being a dad. So, like you said, nothing wrong with turn that down to go and do that. Like
Right.
you said, I know, like you said, it might have been a tough decision, but like you said,
Very tough.
you made the right one. So
Yeah.
I tip my hat again to you, man. With that. So that's awesome. Was it a bit of a culture shock, man, in Europe? Man, I asked Craig
Um.
and Eddie this, and I know some of the places they was at, they were saying some of the things a little bit different, but what about for you?
Yeah. No, it was different as far as like. Well, it wasn't what I expected. Like I thought in Germany, I just
Mm,
thought it was going. It was. It was a melting pot. You know what I mean? It was a lot of different cultures there. You know
mm,
what I mean?
oh,
One thing
okay.
I love the people there. Where I was real close to my boy Nell, so I used to go see him play, and then we used to hang out. But I no, it was a bit of a culture shock as far as food, but like in how nice the people
Mm,
were. That was the first time you don't see crime in your life. You know what I mean? Like you can leave your door
oh, okay.
open and nobody's coming in your house. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that was a
yeah,
beautiful thing in Germany. I like that, but I'm not sure if it's like that anymore. But I know there it was pretty cool about that. But only thing it was
yeah,
just you're away from everybody. You know what I mean? It's like you're almost in
yeah,
jail to me. You
yeah,
got to take a different mindset. You know
yeah.
what I mean? As far as like you're just
Hmm.
here for a
Yeah.
job. You don't get to talk to too
Hmm.
many people that you know. So I was
Yeah.
just there for a
Yeah.
job. Again, that's something that you take on, I guess, as a professional. But it was definitely
Yeah.
a culture shock as far as that. But nah,
Yeah.
I had a great time. I love the people I played with. I love the city that I was in. It was good.
That's real. That's real, man. Appreciate that. So look, man, I'm gonna get you off of here on this, man. I gotta get you. Like I said, I thought I was telling you, I see some of your posts about the league and whatnot. So first, if I'm not mistaken, you're a Laker fan, right?
Of
Am I
course,
right about that?
of course,
Okay, all right.
right on point.
So I got two questions for you then. One, I gotta get you a state of the Lakers. I got some people talking about, can they trade Russ before Thursday? You say they should have never got Russ. I gotta get you a state of the Lakers, and then after that, I gotta get your finals prediction, East and West. I'm gonna put you on the spot, East and West. After that, first let me hear about the Lakers first, then give me your prediction.
The Lakers, we're bad, man. We're bad. Just playing bad basketball. Westbrook was a no go from the jump. I said that, you know. What I mean, it's just
You
he's
did say that. You did
he's
say that.
he's a talent, but he's not a
Mm-hmm.
winner. You know what I mean? You see it throughout his career. It's no way you can't if you can't win with Kevin Durant and the talent that they had in Oklahoma. Again,
That's true.
and I just feel like people play him wrong. You know what I mean? Like he's a two guard. They play him at the
Mm.
one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And so I believe that's the problem with Russ, but that would never work out on the Lakers and with Bron. You know what I mean? Bron, AD, that's too
yeah,
he's too ball heavy. You know what I mean? As far as wanting the ball
yeah,
in his hand, needing the ball to play his game. You know what I mean? And he's older where he can't play the defense like he used to be, or to be able to create things for
uh,
himself like he used to. So that was just a bad thing.
yeah,
Again, if they trade him, we need to trade to get younger, get some shooters in. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We need to get younger and
yeah.
get some shooters in. I think that could propel us as long as AD stays off the health, can stay healthy.
Right. You gotta stay healthy.
He needs to
Man.
talk to whoever Bron's working with. You know what I mean? Because the guy just
For real.
like, yo, as soon as you step on the court, you hurt. God damn. But
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Or if I was a Lakers organization, I would just, hey, we're going to use them. Like at this point, we got to get something in here to help us get back to
Yeah.
where we're at. I'm not going to waste it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that
I
would
know with
be
that contract, I don't know if they're gonna be able to get rid of it, but
they not.
I try to give yeah. I mean,
They
because I
not.
try to give the benefit of the doubt before the season. I thought that he would help them. Like, for instance, okay, like you were talking about AD being hurt. I thought Russ was really gonna help when AD's out and Bron's out, but that
No.
wasn't the case. Like when one of them was out, like it seemed like he
No.
was even worse. And then he's shooting
Yeah.
shots like I don't know why he keeps shooting this off the backboard shot that's not even
It,
close. Like it's not even good. So I don't know. Maybe I mean I keep hearing he is a second half player. Maybe he can do enough to turn around, but also I think Frank Vogel he's going to have to make them hard decisions like he did the other night against New York, and you might have to sit him, in the fourth quarter or in overtime and stuff like that. And then it kind of looks even worse when you could have had a DeMar DeRozan, and the way he's
we could
playing in
have a Buddy
Chicago. You
Hill.
know what I'm
We could have
saying?
had a lot
Buddy
we could,
Hill, shoot,
like
yeah,
bro, we could have had a lot of people. And then but even
uh,
it could have worked out with him though, because like again, I think we
uh,
just we could again. You have Rondo, you didn't even use him. Like you
yeah,
got a
that's true.
person, you got like he makes the game easy for
Yeah,
everybody. You put him on the
he
court, you
does.
start
Yeah,
him. You bring again Westbrook.
yeah,
You're a grown person. You got to come off the bench right now,
yep,
but you can be the man on the
mm-hmm.
second squad. So when you come
Yep.
off,
On the second
Bron's
unit.
sitting,
Yeah,
AD sitting. So now you can just
yep,
go crazy, do what you do. You know what I mean?
yep,
But they
yep,
didn't. They
yep.
didn't even use Rondo the way we should have. So and then we just got rid of
Yeah,
him. It's just like, bro, this is
yeah,
horrible. You know what I mean? This is bad
yeah.
basketball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you there. And leaving with this one, man. Yeah. Who's coming out the East and who's coming out the West this year?
Um, out the East, I like the Bulls.
Ooh. See, I'm a Heat fan. I got a little fuzzy.
I like the Heat.
They
I
gonna
like
jump
the
us.
Heat,
They
but
gonna
there's
jump.
actually it all depends on. I'm gonna be honest. It depends on Lonzo. But if Lonzo
Yeah,
doesn't,
yeah.
you know what
Good
I
point.
mean.
Good
If
point.
Lonzo
Mm-hmm.
doesn't come back, I think y'all can take it. You know what I mean? Because it's just a dangerous teams. Like I look at the people who gonna play
Yeah,
both ends. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what y'all do.
yeah.
Miami
That's
does.
true. That's
They
true.
got a lot of depth. You know what I mean? Which is good.
Yeah, yeah. We do.
And
Is it hopeless for the Nets?
it's over. You know what I mean? It's over.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like, but I like Kyrie. I like those guys. And I told people
Uh,
before, it's just like those guys are again. KD's a great. He's a great player, bro. Like, and I don't want anybody
right.
to take this wrong, but him and Kyrie, they're great players. They're great talents, but they are Robins at the end of the day. They're not Batman. That's just a fact.
That's a hot take right there. Someone might, after they see this, they might mess you
Yeah, a
about
lot.
that one.
They can. It's facts.
I see what you're saying. That they're not lead as far as that leadership being a Batman.
Yeah, yeah.
You need to lead. Yeah.
Because to be a person to will your team to a victory, it's more than just on the court. It's more than just scoring the ball. It's more than that. Like, look at Steph. And like, this is why I give Steph so high praises. Like, you see what he was doing before KD even got there. Boy, he was giving you 50 like
That's
it was
true.
nothing, right? But then he
That's
brings
true.
KD in, right? KD comes in, and then he takes the back seat, but quietly averages 25.
He did.
And
Quality
then
over 25 is gonna look like.
just still wins and lets KD take all the shine. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Without a problem. But
Yep.
guess what? KD leaves, everybody's hurt, it's whatever. Look what he did to the league, bro. He destroyed the league again.
Yep.
Like, he was just back,
Again, man.
like he could do whatever it takes to what he wants to do.
Yep.
Again, he's making these, and
Yep.
I'm not saying every player in the NBA is a great player to me. They're elite talent, but again, it's tiers in the NBA. These players that were on his team, that are on his team, these aren't top tier players. Like, these aren't top draft picks, but he makes them look like think about Wiggins. Wiggins was
look how he's playing. That good point. Made him all-star this year.
Like, he's an all-star. Like, I tell everybody it's a step effect. Like, you come play with a kid, you'll be great again. Like, look at Gary Payton Jr. Like, what are we talking about here? This guy was on nobody's radar.
Like, Jordan Poole. They talking about maybe six man. All these guys.
Like, these guys, he makes them better. So, that's the only reason. And then, like, you look at Kyrie's career. The kid's great. He was in Cleveland. He was doing great numbers, just never winning nothing. He was in Cleveland. Bron comes there, and Bron finally learned how to will a team to victory, and you got one. But guess what? You were robbing in this time. And again, people know I play and I mess with Bron, but again, I mess with the Bron fans. But again, like, you were robbing, Kyrie. So they don't step up in those moments to be that leader that teams need to win. You know what I mean?
That's real. Hey, I respect that. Nah, that's real. And what about out west? You gonna hear it once it drop, I'm sure.
I know. But in the
what
West,
about out west?
Man, I
like this. You gonna go with
like
State?
the Suns.
I know you were talking about.
Nah, I like the Suns.
I like the Suns too.
I like the Suns. Chris Paul. I wish we could have got him when Kobe was there, and I know we would have had more rings with Kobe. But
definitely, most definitely. I was just talking about that earlier today. How they did that. Chris Paul would have definitely had at least 2 or 3 right now.
Come on, man. It's never been done in NBA history that I know. Again, if it was done, I have never heard of it. For the NBA to block your trade. But exactly. I like to see Chris Paul get one. They're playing at a good level. I think they got excellent talent, and Chris Paul is that guy. You can take him anywhere. He's a winner. Again, he just can't get hurt. He just can't get hurt in the playoffs. If he doesn't get hurt, they're going to win a ring. You know, they're going to win a ring.
They would have won last year if he didn't get hurt. Yeah,
exactly.
They won last year. His finger was messed up. Yeah. He gets some bad luck sometimes. I was just looking at a podcast him on JJ Redick's podcast. I actually watched it earlier, and I was saying the same thing. I hope he can get it this year. I hope he can, man. He deserves it.
He definitely deserves it. But again, I'm never leaving Steph out, man, because the guy just can. Like, he can
with a healthy Clay.
Healthy Clay. Like, bro, they're not going. Like, it's hard to stop that, man. I don't care who you are, because like it's not just about the offense. And like, when they're playing their best basketball, they're the best defensive team in the league. These are proven facts.
You know
what I mean? You can't. If you're playing good offense and you got the best offense and you got top 5 defense, top 3 defense, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. But I like Phoenix and the Bulls or Miami. I like that.
That's what's up. And one more thing about Golden State, I was telling my buddy earlier, man, is that they're not going anywhere anytime soon, because first of all, Steph's gonna be shooting the ball like that. He can shoot like that till he's 40 and still be in the league. And then if you look at the fact that Wiseman hasn't played at all yet this year, they've got Kuminga and the other rookie. They got the 2 rookies, and if they wanted to, whether they wait on those guys in a couple years to get better, or say they trade those guys for another, it ain't gotta be a top player, just another mid-tier guy. Man, what they already doing?
They're dangerous, man. With everybody healthy, once they get healthy, like I said, once they get healthy, man, they're almost unbeatable. I'm gonna be honest, just because they play so good at basketball. It's not like they play good basketball. It's just not. It's not the selfish basketball. They're feeding if you go back to our conversation, like with our YI team, they play the same type of basketball. Anybody can give you 20, but they're not selfish. Whoever's hot that night, you get the ball. You go crazy.
You get the ball.
And then they're playing tenacious D. Like when you can't beat that combination. That's a rough combination.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see, man. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate the
Definitely,
predictions, man.
definitely,
And like, yeah, yes, sir, man. And again, man, I want to thank you again, man. You know, like I said, it's probably the longest conversation we've had, but we've always known each other
definitely.
and like I say, compete against each other and all that, man. So it's been an honor, man, and a pleasure, man. I really appreciate you, class of '03 representing. You know what I mean? So from Waha
Always.
to Eastern, man. So man, the love is real, man. So again, man, Kyle Camper, man, Real Sports Fan Podcast. Appreciate you being on here, man.
Definitely.
And man, check out the episode, man. Have a
All
good
right.
one, bro.
Definitely. I
Peace,
appreciate
man.
you for letting me on here, Lance. Thank you. And thinking of me in
Oh
the light
man.
that you do, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, bro. Appreciate it.